Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and for the last week, I've been driving the 2026 Subaru Outback Limited XT. Up front is a 2.4-liter turbocharged flat 4, and down below is a CVT. Now, I am super excited to be making this video here today because not only have I spent the last week driving the new Outback, but this Outback is all new for the 2026 model year, and I have reviews of the Premium, which is a pretty much base model Outback, as well as the upper trim Wilderness. And so today, we're gonna be kind of in the middle here with the Limited XT. We still get that turbo motor, but a few less features than the Wilderness, and we'll dig into it here today. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 2.4-liter flat 4 under the hood. Well, this is one of two engine options. So I have driven the Premium, which is the more base model that comes with the naturally aspirated engine. That's actually a 2.5-liter. This is most certainly the engine that you want. I'll put the horsepowers for both engines up on the screen, but I've driven both engines pretty extensively, and I have to say the turbo is without a doubt the way to go. Without it, you just feel very sluggish. You don't feel very confident. And honestly, like, merging with traffic wasn't the easiest task in the world. It is certainly easy here with the turbo, so I beg you to get the turbo when you are getting your Subaru Outback. Now, like I said, paired to it is a CVT. All Subaru Outbacks and almost all Subaru products get a CVT if they're an automatic. Of course, the BRZ still maintains its manual transmission as well as the WRX, but it's a CVT. It does the job. I don't have any complaints about it, and that's it. Last but not least about the drivetrain, of course, this does have Subaru's all-wheel drive system along with X mode that we will talk about later, but I do have first-hand experience with the Subaru Outback with X mode in the mud, and it is very, very good. Subaru let us drive around a ranch out in Napa Valley and really put the Subaru Outback to the test. That was the Wilderness trim level, and so I am very impressed with the all-wheel drive systems offered in the Subaru Outback. How does it feel to drive? Now, this is the Limited, so it is less off-roady than the Wilderness trim level, of course, and it drives great. That has been the big cornerstone of my week with the Subaru Outback, is that this car actually drives great, and its mannerisms on the road are so refined that I would expect it out of, honestly, a different brand. It's been smooth, calm, and quiet. Everyone I've driven around in this car has said, wow, that's a nice, smooth ride. And that is the case here. We'll talk about this with the final thoughts segment. This is a huge reason why I like this car, but I know how capable this car is off-road and how well it handles on-road, that it does start to edge onto that best of both worlds territory. Visibility is fine. Throttle response is fine, especially for the turbo. The NA motor, like I said, not great, but it is what it is. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. I like this. It's relatively easy to read, easy to see, and it has all the information that I would want. Clear as day, nice crystal there. However, again, if you go up to the Wilderness, it actually does get a slightly different gauge cluster skin. There's like more mountains and stuff on it, so if you care about that thing, that's what the Wilderness will offer you with the interior screen. On the steering wheel on the left, we do have our skip track source information, phone options, voice commands, and volume. And off to the right, we have our adaptive cruise control, our X mode, our steering assist, and our heated steering wheel. Lots going on over here on the steering wheel. Lots and lots of buttons. I assume in years to come, they'll start to whittle down how many buttons are on the steering wheel, but I don't mind it because I know that the alternative is what Lexus is doing with their weird haptic non-labeled buttons, and I hate that with a burning passion. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent. We do have our tailgate release and gauge dimmer switch. Moving out of the door, we have 2 levels of memory seats, lock and unlock, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, we get our infotainment display. This does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but this is a new system for the 2026 model year. We're going to start to see this system in more Subaru products in the future, but the Outback is the one to debut it, and I have to say it is lovely. It is so much better than the old Starlink system that they used to use. It's way more user-friendly. The buttons and everything are just laid out in a lot more of an understandable way. Like, I can look at it and be like, oh, this is what this does, this is what this does, without too much back background knowledge, and that's really nice. I would trust my 91-year-old grandfather to be able to use this pretty quickly after getting into the vehicle, and that, I think, is a true sign of success for a UI in a car. We do have a backup camera as well as a 360 camera, which is always very, very nice, and this is also piped through a Harman Kardon sound system that is quite lovely. To make sure that when Big X the Plug says A, I can feel it in my chest. Hey. Down below, we do have 2 climate control vents and a hazard switch, and we have our climate controls. Dual zone climate, heated seats, really laid out well. This is not in the screen. Subaru made an effort to take this out of the screen. In the outgoing Outback, it was down at the bottom. It was awful. It was annoying. They actually removed that. They went back to physical buttons, and I think this is actually a huge update and upgrade over the last Outback. We also get USB-C and USB-A down below and a wireless charger. Moving into the center, we do have our shifter off to the left. Nothing spectacular there. We have buttons for our auto start stop on and off, camera button, auto holding brake, and traction control off, as well as our parking brake. And we do have cup holders. We'll do a big freaking bottle test and it fails. However, in the door pocket, it does have a bottle holder that will fit the big freaking bottle test, and they put this carpeted material on the inside so things don't rattle around. Huge attention to detail and a big, big win for the Subaru Outback. Then we do get a 12-volt outlet and a center console with nothing in it. The seats are comfortable, they are heated, they are memory, and that's pretty much all I would really need out of a car. I do love me some good heated seats, and the Outback has some good heated seats, so I like that a lot. Seating position has been good. I also took this up to Road America and back, the racetrack, which is about 2.5 hours from Chicago, so I spent about 5.5 to 6 hours in the car that day, and my back never hurt, my hips didn't hurt. It was comfortable enough for that journey. However, speaking of seats, we have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, getting in the back of the Subaru Outback. Oh, I left my sweatshirt back here. That's embarrassing. Closing it up here. First of all, seats are super soft. Really, really like that. Down below here, we do have 2 climate control vents and heated seats. Love that on a slightly chilly day today. We have a USB-C as well as USB-A. And knee room is really, really good. Tons of space out in front of me. Headroom is good as well. I fit back here very, very comfortably. And odds are you watching this, you're probably smaller than me. So you're gonna fit even more comfortably back here. This is a great back seat, and they're not trying to chuck a 3rd row back there. That is what the Ascent is for. And so you get tons and tons of space. And you get even more space back there. We will talk about it in a second, but that is a huge... Sorry for the interruption. Hey, word of the wise, for real. This is like probably the most helpful advice I can give you at the moment. Do not go to cars.com or Kelley Blue Book or any of those sites and request an online estimate to sell your vehicle. I did that. I was contemplating selling my Mazda 3. I'm not going to, but I was like, well, what's the value of it? Put my info in online, and I have gotten nonstop spam calls for the last month, 5, 6, 7 times a day. So, word of the wise, if you're going to sell your vehicle to buy a Subaru Outback XT Limited, do not put your information in online. Ooh, they left a voicemail.
Hey, Zack, this is John calling from Sunrise Chevrolet. Just trying to confirm whether or not you sold your Mazda 3 or if you still own it. Please let me know. My number is 630. Thank you.
All right, Sunrise Chevrolet. I have not sold my Mazda. Anyway, didn't mean to put that in the video, but it's going to be in the video. So there you go. The back of the Subaru Outback is great. Let's talk about the trunk space. All right, coming around the back, we do have a power-operated tailgate right like that. And as you can see, I had a remote control car and I took it to a baseball diamond and it got a little dirty. But that is the pure genius of this floor liner, and I love it so very much. This is just going to shake right out. As a matter of fact, wee. Look at that, easy. Sure, that was great for the audio. Bada bing, bada boom, look at that, beautiful, emptied. We do have these handles here that will lower the second row. Watch this, camera guy, boom! There. That's a paid actor. So very, very nice to see that. We do get a 12-volt outlet over here. Great for inflating things or rafts or things like that. Pull this up, and we do have some storage down below as well. And a spare tire. So we do get a spare tire here in the Outback, which I will love to see. Come up here, we can lock the vehicle or just use the power rear tailgate. Since the vehicle's on, we can't lock it anyway. So there you go. Nice, cool, calm, collected, just like the driving experience around back here with the tailgate. Now we gotta talk about the looks. I don't love the look of this Outback. I don't think it's the most pretty. It's way prettier than the Wilderness. I think the Wilderness is an ungodly sight. I don't like the way that the Wilderness looks. However, I do like this. I don't like that it's finished in magnetite. I don't know how to say that. It's gray metallic. It doesn't, help the design being in gray either. I don't love it, but when I'm behind the wheel, I kind of forget about what this car looks like, and so it's fine from there on out. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think not only driving the new 2026 Wilderness for the third time, but now for an extended amount of time, for a week, taking it on a road trip, filling it up with gas, putting my friends in here, putting my remote control cars in the back, all of that together. What are my thoughts? Well, I want one. And I don't say that a lot. I'm so privileged to the fact that I get usually 2 new cars, 2 press cars a week, and I drive 5, 6, 7 other people's cars every week. I try to drive at least 7 cars a week. I drive a lot. I drive a lot of cars, and, I'll love a car. I'll be head over heels for a car, and then I'll get out and, not really think about that car ever again. I've thought about this car a lot, especially ever since I first drove it back in January. I think about the Outback a lot. Reason for that is that it is kind of a one-size-fits-all vehicle. It's very good on road. It's very smooth. It's quiet. It offers definitely a $45,000 experience while on the road. If this was my only vehicle, I would love it. The sound system's great, the heated seats, the big screen, all of this together. It is a great daily driver package. But the cherry on top is that I know that with the X-Drive modes and with the all-wheel drive system and it just being a tried and true Subaru, it's going to be good off-road. I try to go hiking once or twice a year. I try to make it out to a national park at least once a year. And so for that trip, it would be nice to have a car like this. I could drive it to that rocky trailhead. I could be down in Big Bend where they have the 4-wheel drive only trails that I took my Mazda on and it beat the snot out of that car. This would have a lot better of a time. I could do a little bit more hardcore things. If there's a small river crossing, I would be a lot more comfortable doing it in this than my Mazda or other vehicles. And so it has that on-road capability of smooth, quiet, calm, and collected while also having off-road credibility. And that is something that is really fantastic. You also have to look at vehicles like the Honda Passport. The Honda Passport Trail Sport, as much as I adore that vehicle as well, this is bigger than it. It's around the same price tag, and this is going to be more spacious. This is going to be more comfortable than the Honda Passport. And so you start to weigh both of those. I honestly don't think you can go wrong between the Honda Passport Trail Sport and the Outback Wilderness. I really think that's a zero-loser fight, whichever one you pick you're going to be pretty happy with, and they're very good vehicles at that. But it just does everything so well. And the only downsides I can really pick apart are the fact that, hey man, it's kind of ugly, but that's okay. I've never been one to care about looks, at least for myself. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Subaru for letting me borrow their Outback for the last week. Huge thank you to G. Schmitz for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle. And of course, the Midwest Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.